Aloha, y'all. Welcome back to the Socially Awkward Chef. I have got a bunch of onions that I need to use up, so we are going to be making French onion soup. So let's get started. What you'll need are 4 to 5 medium to large sized onions, 2 cloves of garlic that are minced up, some dried thyme. If you have fresh, even better. And you will also need 2 32-ounce containers of beef broth. And if you are vegetarian, you can absolutely substitute that with vegetable broth or veggie stock. All right, so let's get started with cutting up our onion. We're just going to take the top and bottom off, cut it in half, and then just remove the first outer layer of skin because that's usually pretty rubbery. Get rid of that. Then all we're going to do from here are we're just going to slice these thinly. And you're looking for about that, which is, I'd give it about 1/4 of an inch. Get these, and I have a bowl off to the side. We're just going to put them in here with the other onions that I went ahead and chopped already. Here's my big old pile of onions. And the other thing that you will need is 1 stick of unsalted butter. And from here, we are going to take these and melt some butter and get these caramelizing. Our pot has been preheating for a few minutes on medium heat. And to that, we're going to add in 1 stick of butter, unsalted. Just let that melt. As soon as the rest of the butter melts and the bubbles start to subside, that's when we're going to add in all of our onions. Let's add in our onions. Let's give this a gentle stir. From here, you will just need some time and patience because we're going to get these nice and caramelized, which can take 40 to 50 minutes. And you will need to kind of hang out and give these a good stir. And if things are starting to brown too fast, you might want to move the heat to between medium to, let's say, medium-low. The goal is low and slow. We'll see you at the 20-minute mark. Now that we're at the approximate halfway point, I'm going to go ahead and add in a teaspoon of kosher salt and give that a good zhuzh. And the reason why you don't add salt in the beginning is because that's going to pull out the moisture a little faster than we want it to. So now we're going to continue to let this cook and also give this a good stir every 5 minutes, and we'll check on these in about 10 more minutes and see what they look like from here. You can see that our onions are starting to develop just a little bit of color, which is good. We're going to continue to cook our onions down until they are nice and beautifully caramelized. And even though it smells delicious, take your time. You definitely do not want to skip this step and rush your onions. So I will be checking on the time, and we'll see you when our onions are closer to where they need to be. All right, so that took about 55 minutes in total, but of course everyone is going to be different based on the size of your onions. But as far as the color, this is what your goal is. A beautiful deep caramel brown. So from here, we're going to add in our 2 cloves of garlic that we finely chopped, as well as 2 bay leaves, a half of a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and a half of a teaspoon of dried thyme. If you have fresh thyme, use a couple of sprigs. That would be fantastic. Just going to give this a little stir and just warm up those herbs, and then we're going to go ahead and deglaze this pot. And that's a reminder that please preheat your oven to 450 degrees because we're going to toast some bread and then melt some cheese. I've been cooking this for just about 2 minutes. So from here, I'm going to add in my white wine, and we're going to use 1 cup. Any dry white wine will work. I am using a Pinot Grigio. The wine is also completely optional, but I have it, so I'm just going to use it up. We're going to let the alcohol cook off for just a little bit, and then we are going to add in our beef broth. Let's add in our broth. I'm just cleaning up all this yummy goodness up off the sides. And we're going to let this come up to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. Let me give this a taste so I can adjust my salt or any other seasonings. I think it could use just a little bit more salt and maybe just a little bit more pepper. While our soup is cooking, we can go ahead and prep our bread for the French onion soup. So what I did was I just took a regular baguette and sliced it into about 1/2 of an inch thick slices, and then I just toasted them until they were nice and golden brown. Let's go ahead and top them with some cheese. Here I have some Gruyere that I went ahead and grated. You can use any nice melty cheese of your choice. Some popular ones are Provolone and sliced Swiss or even mozzarella cheese. And also, you can skip this step if you have oven-proof bowls that you can ladle your soup into and then pop in the oven. I am not going to take a chance with ours, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this in the oven and then transfer these directly into our soup bowls. I have my oven preheated to 450 degrees, and I also moved my rack to the very top shelf. So when we're ready, we're going to go ahead and just put that in there and let that cook. Our soup has just come up to a boil, so I'm going to add in a good splash of dry sherry, also completely optional. And from here, we're going to reduce it from medium to low and let that simmer for 10 minutes. While our soup is simmering, let's go ahead and pop these into the oven until they are nice and golden brown, but you definitely will need to keep an eye on it. Our French onion soup is ready, so the next thing I'm going to do is top it with our croutons topped with cheese. If you would like to gild the lily and get some of the extra cheese pull factor, you can add just a little bit more of our cheese. And then I'm going to top it with these. You can also, if you want, this took at 450 degrees about 8 minutes. You can easily raise the temperature to 500 degrees and that'll cook in a shorter amount of time. And again, you just want to make sure that you keep an eye on it. And best yet, if you have a brulee torch, have at it. But this is our easy French onion soup. Also, don't forget to remove the bay leaves from your soup. Anywho, here is our French onion soup. I hope that you enjoyed this recipe and that you give it a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Until we eat again, y'all. Aloha!